Alright, good afternoon. This is Sheila from Cardstock Creations and Mini Albums, and on this tutorial we're going to start working on the pages in my mini album purse. So you're going to need one of your base pages, which I told you measures 7.5 by 5. Okay, I'll show you the page we're going to be working on. It's this one right here, and there's two flaps, one at the top and one at the bottom, and then there's a belly band with this diamond piece here that holds your cards and photo mats. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on in this video. Okay, let's see. All right. I already got my pieces cut. Okay, so for the top flap, you will need a piece of paper 7.5 by 5 inches. And you're going to score 1/4 inch. Oops. And I'm going to trim the corners a little. And I'm using glue, not the tape. This is the top flap. Make sure that it's even. Okay. And then the bottom flap measures 7.5 by 4 3/4. And again, I will have the measurements for you down below. I know some people have expressed in groups on Facebook that they would like the measurements written out because it's kind of hard to follow along. I don't know why that is doing that. I have no clue there. Now fine. Okay. That's that. So there is a magnet. So we're going to go ahead and attach that. And I always put a little gel ink on one side. Oh, actually I need to change the color because we're using white. So I'm going to put some black on there. Turn it over, push down, and now I know where I'm going to place my other magnet. And I always attach the magnet to this side because I want to make sure I lay down the right side or it will repel itself and it won't connect. Okay, I'm just making sure that's working. Now on the inside, we have a belly band, and that measures 1 inch by 8.5, and you're gonna score 1/4 inch on either side. And you can trim the corners a little in there. Oops. You can lay that down somewhere in the middle. Before I put, before I put the diamond shape, I'm actually going to attach the back piece of paper. Before I do that, I think it's this one. Just going to make sure this is the one I wanted to use. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue. When you're putting these pages together, the main part I would suggest to use glue to make sure they stay together. But when you go to decorate it, you can use the score tape or whatever other tape you like. And I'm also going to, actually it's kind of big, I'm going to trim that off a little bit. I'm just going to pause. Okay, I just had to trim that, I measured wrong. Alright, I'm just going to add some glue. Now for this, and one thing I want to mention, I always want to make sure when you add in your paper, you don't want it to go all the way up to where the flaps fold, because that way, if you do that, then your pages aren't going to close properly. And the same with attaching this little diamond shape here. So I'm just going to add a little glue here and just some in the middle. Just to tack it down a little. You lay it down, you can eyeball exactly where you want it. Okay. And then put this piece like this. So now we can start adding the other pieces. And what happened to my other pieces of paper? Okay. Alright. Okay. I had to stop the camera. I made a boo-boo. So I had to recut some pieces. Alright, so this outside. Okay. This the bottom flap here. I'm just gonna use my tape. Now see here, you got to make sure your things go in the same way. You don't want them to look backwards. Oops. Okay. And the same with the covers. You want to make sure you see the writing is going the same direction. You don't want it backwards. I have done that in the past. Completed something and then realized I had something upside down. It's not a good feeling. When you notice that you made a blunder. I'm just making sure there's no glue hanging over because you don't want your book to stick together. Kind of hard to see with this white paper where you want to lay down. But that's the color I chose, so now I'm going to stick with it. Right. Alright, so our first page is completed. Oopsie, I just got stuck. Gonna make sure that doesn't happen. I'm gonna stick something there. Whew. Okay. So that's our first page. Now we can attach this to the book. And I'm going to bring the book over. And this is our, oops, why is that coming up? I have no clue why that's coming up. Alright, so we're going to, this is my first page, so we're going to just put this right down. I'm going to use some tape and I'm going to use glue because I want to make sure it's going to stay attached to the book. You can be generous as you want with your glue because the more you put down, the better off you'll be. Making sure those pages don't come apart. Especially when it's humid outside. Alright, so try to eyeball it the best I can. Lay it down. You want to open this up. So you want to press that down. Alright, so that's our first page. Looks pretty good. Not so hard. Alright, ready for embellishments. Alright, so that's this video, and the next one will be going on to page 2. I'm only going to do one at a time because I don't want to confuse you, give you too much to sink in at once. Okay, you have a good afternoon, and I'll see you next time.